be part of the history and to remember at a club which was a massive part of my life.
Johnny on the spot was Danny Butterfield with his first goal for more than a year.
It was a real special moment for me.
And Butterfield, 2! No question this time.
A massive unsung hero.
Butterfield's in again! Hat-trick! Night of his life!
I've been at the club such a long time.
It is the perfect hat-trick for Danny Butterfield.
Obviously a part of the Palace history. I was at Grimsby at the time and we played Palace right at the end of the season. I remember playing right midfield in that. I think I probably created 3 of the 4 goals or something. And I think that obviously stoked up a bit of interest. I was out of contract at Grimsby. Grimsby made a bit of an error in not offering me a contract in time, so I was entitled at 22 to leave on a free. And I had a phone call from Terry Bullivant in the summer asking what my situation was, and before I knew it, I was on my way down to Selhurst to negotiate a contract and sign. Trevor Francis signed me, and he sort of had me straight away in the team for the first game of the season, playing right over 3 in midfield. So I was playing like 5 at the back, and he wanted me in the middle of the park, and it was sort of straight from there. And I then sort of got ushered out to the sort of right wing berth and stayed there for the next sort of 18 months, 2 years really. The players were certainly behind Steve. He brought a real good training culture to the club. We were all behind him, but we had a lot of individual errors. I remember we played at Wigan on TV and got beat 5-0. I think it was probably 5 at half time, I think. Before we knew it, Steve Kember had been sacked, and we were all pretty good at the time because we had a good squad, a good calibre of player, but it just wasn't clicking. Kim Dowie came in and the rest is history that year. It was a complete flipping training regime. It was hard work. We were physically at a level where the majority of us hadn't been before. But along the way we was getting results. The momentum just sort of carried on, the snowball effect carried on. We got more and more confident, and towards the end of the season, sort of March, April time, there was only one team going to go up and get in the playoffs, and that was us.
Phil Shipley's clever play is this free kick, which is played to Butterfield, and it's deflected in!
I always remember walking out the tunnel. West Ham had this pristine white tracksuit top, and we had this mucky yellow kit that we wore in the semi-finals, and Brian the kitman couldn't quite get out the stains from the celebrations at Sunderland. I remember thinking, we look a bit rug-ass rovers here. At the same time, that was us. That was our identity. Nothing was going to stand in our way. And you looked across the line and saw them. We was hearing stories that they had all celebration parties already lined up back at Upton Park, flights for all the players and wives back to blah, blah, blah. And when you hear them sort of stories, you sort of know that it's going to be our day.
And Crystal Palace score first in the First Division playoff final, and at the moment they are the pride of London.
I remember it being quite tense. I remember it being ridiculously hot. I remember thinking, if I kick this ball high enough, I think I'm going to hit the roof here. It felt like really intense and on top of you. But all along, I still think the application and desire from everyone, it was only going to be our day. And the celebrations, it was inevitable Ships was going to get the goal, because AJ had been the one banging in the goals all season, and Ships was the one that was doing an unbelievable amount of hard graft off the ball for AJ to benefit. And then we just sort of hung on in there. Celebrations afterwards, we just tootled off to a little local hotel where we stayed at before with our families, and it just felt even more us in it being a small celebration, but such a massive thing for the football club.
Crystal Palace are in the Premiership. It's no longer a dream, it's reality. In the space of just 5 months, Ian Dowie has taken them from relegation possibles to promotion search. His story and their story is a remarkable one, truly remarkable. The Premiership dream is not just alive, it's alive and kicking for Crystal Palace. They are back amongst the elite of English football. Who'd have thought it? The Eagles take flight to the top flight.
It's a great team spirit that year. but especially the famous trio of you, AJ and Sean Derry as mates. How did that happen, that all three of you becoming good friends?
We all signed within the same week, 10 days, so therefore we was all in the hotel together. For sort of 3-4 years, we were inseparable. We were like brothers, really. Our camaraderie around the place sort of was perhaps infectious for everyone, because when it was time to be serious, we were serious. We trained hard, but at the same time we had a light-heartedness of enjoying what we was doing along the way, and I think that was a big thing that us three sort of added to the dressing room. Us three started like a closed banter for a while, and it got to the point where the girlfriends actually intervened because people were buying things. I turned up one day in a new pair of jeans, and by the time I'd finished training there were jean shorts. It was like, I remember Sean got a tracksuit, a grey Nike tracksuit, and he had to go to a meeting with his girlfriend about a mortgage or something on a property, and he didn't have time to go home and get changed, so I got a marker pen and wrote "juicy" across the arse. So he had to turn up in a juicy trackie, and he didn't even clock it until his missus had seen him. So, "What's on your tracksuit?" And then but it was just relentless. AJ would have t-shirts turned into vests, and it was just, every time a new item of clothing was bought, it was just cut to shreds or drawn on, so we had to cut a truce on that one.
Routledge. Johnson! Crystal Palace on level!
The biggest disappointment, I was all set to start the first game, and we played QPR away in a pre-season friendly, and I basically snapped my hamstring, my left hamstring, and that kept me out for probably 12 weeks. I had a double hernia operation which set me back again under 6-8 weeks. So I was obviously devastated at that point because I was due to start the Premier League season. So Emerson came in, did great, and then I managed to get back in the team for a little period, probably 10 games, 12 games. And I couldn't get back to the level I was at the season before because of the hamstring and the hernia, which was really frustrating because the dream to get into the Premier League and play have a contribution in getting there and being part of the team, and then not having the chance to go and do it was frustrating. But fair play to Emerson, he came in, he was terrific. But we went and signed these players that from the outside the fans would expect you to take you to that next level, but they didn't understand our dressing room, they didn't understand English football, they didn't understand the English mentality, they didn't understand one person doesn't do his job, you get dragged into line. Ian Dowie went and picked 3 or 4 of these players at the start of the season, and by Christmas time I think he actually reverted back to what got him there, and we just fell short at Charlton, obviously. And I think that the disappointing thing as players that got you there is, let's see how it goes from the word go. And I think that was a frustration. But Peter came in, he basically said that we're going to play football. And he signed Matty Lawrence and put Matty as a centre-half and played him right back. My initial thoughts were, since his signing, I've got to sit tight in, and I felt that I was more of a footballer than Matty Lawrence was. Matty's a great player, by the way. Top centre-half, top defender. But at the time, I was frustrated with Peter Taylor because I thought, we're playing football as a full-back, this is my game. I liked Peter as a man. I thought he was a nice guy. I think that might have been one of his weaknesses, that he was a nice guy. But I didn't enjoy my time at Palace under Peter Taylor as much as I did other managers.
Then Neil Warnock came in. How much of a difference did he make?
He made everyone pull in the same direction, and everyone wanted to win for Neil Warnock. His man management skills were brilliant, and he had a good knack of signing players that would put the bodies on the line, that had a creative spark in the final third. We didn't have anyone that we had to carry through games. I remember one of the first things he did was we had 5-a-side, shin pads, boots, really small pitch, and he was throwing balls in every 2 seconds to see who would tackle and clatter into each other. And Sean Derry had half tipped me off about this. He said he'll do this for sure. So make sure you rattle into tackles or he'll have you out. So people are hacking each other. It was like 12-a-side on a 20 by 30 and everyone's rattling into tackles. And after the session he said, Courty, Leon Court, he said, you've got a record, haven't you? He said, yeah. He said, I've not been booked for 2 years. He went, get your agent to ring me. He'll be next out the door. we was like, all right, you got to win tackles and get booked.
Ambrose with the corner, floated in, Alan Lee scores for Crystal Palace.
I remember our team spirit. Every pre-game ritual was to whacked the stereo on with Black Eyed Peas, I've Got a Feeling. So we'd all get up, even before we left, the Victor Moses, the Sean Scannells, we'd get them up purposefully on the feet, and we're all in a big huddle and we're all dancing and singing, and we had that, and then we had I Would Walk 500 Miles blaring out. But I remember the first time we did it, when Paul Hart turned up, said the team to up, blah, blah, all right, get yourselves ready, you're going out. And as he started to walk out the dressing room, Shorty went, here we go, 3 minutes, turn the music on, and we were all bouncing and jumping and singing the 2 songs and going mental before the game. And after the game, he said, we'll stay up on that alone, the team spirit. And he was like completely blown away with the team spirit that he'd inherited. And I remember on the last day when we did it, you could see and sort of feel the air stand up on everyone's necks, like this is us and this is our time.
Here's Scannell, Ambrose, goal! Darren Ambrose for Crystal Palace, and that may do it, because Sheffield Wednesday have it all to do again.
After the game, I'm pretty sure Harty was in tears. He'd had a couple of bad managerial experiences, and I think he came in at Palace and it sort of reignited his love for the game again, and you could see that in him. The spirit of the team and the togetherness sort of typified by our pre-match routine.
Was it quite sad leaving the club that summer?
Massively. I've had the chance to say anything about it because you don't. I was away on holiday. I was out of contract, which a lot of us were because of the administration. I had a phone call from George Burley asking if I wanted to stay. Obviously said yeah. And then I had a phone call about a week later from him saying he'd changed his mind, he's going a different route, and he went and signed David Wright from Ipswich. At the time, I was devastated about. Palace was my club, I'd been there 8 years. I could see myself having a testimonial. I wanted to stay there till I stopped playing. That was my mindset at the time. I never met him face to face. To have your Palace career taken away from you over a phone call on holiday, I thought I was owed a little bit more than that. That was how my Palace career ended, and I was genuinely devastated. Along with me, there was Sean, Matty Lawrence, Clint Hill, Alan Lee, who were a proper backbone of the team to stay in the Championship. And it's his right to do it, but George Burley come in and completely ripped the spine out of the team. The best thing for me was I went and got a move to a great club in Southampton, who's, again, another big club in my life. And we had back-to-back promotions to the Premier League. But I've got some terrific memories at Palace, and I wouldn't change them. I've learned a hell of a lot as a footballer at Palace regarding the highs and lows. And ever thankful to everyone at Palace for having me. I made my mind up quite early joining Exeter that I wanted to go into coaching. Tiz was particularly supportive in that. Wednesdays I'd have to go and help with the under-18s there, and then sort of the playing coaching sort of transition was quite easy because Tiz would let me take certain sessions in the first team, and then the playing days sort of dwindled out and it was more coaching. Went to Southampton to go and work in the under-18s and learn and develop more as a coach, and thankful now that Tiz has given me the opportunity to come back into the first team with hopefully a little bit more knowledge and know-how than I had when I worked with him previously. So it's going great.